Good morning, Laoshi, Laurince, McElroy here again in our pre-recorded video series in this time of home isolation and of being alone together. This is more or less another one of the one-offs, so we're going to hit this topic once. The wide leg hamstring stretch, wide feet hamstring stretch. I'm not going to give the Sanskrit a shot. You can see the hashtag below. Is a favorite with Water Tiger School. So you've probably seen it before in others of these videos or on the live sessions. So we're going to do a little wide leg hamstring stretch and add some intensifiers and also add some movements to the sequence that also, I think anyway, intensifies. It just makes it better. So there you go. That's our focus for today for this video production. And because we're going to be stretching, I want to start with a little warm up to get the blood flowing, get some oxygen going in that blood flowing, that sort of thing. So we're going to do a little march, a little run, maybe something else to get the breath going in the body a little bit warm. I have my tools here to talk about modifications. And whoops, get this started. Boom. We're going to march for 20 seconds. So hands make the targets. And you bring the knees to the targets, not the targets to the knees. So not dribbling, right? If you have a smaller range of motion, then the hands are down here. So you can bring the knees to the hands. Otherwise, forearms parallel is good. Little 20-second intervals. So I'm going to open up the knees. Looks a little funny. Changes the emphasis a little bit in what's working and what's getting heated up. We're going to switch to a three-way run in about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Knees up. Don't have to be doing this, right? We just want to get warmed up. So decent height, getting the feet all the way off the floor. If this is too intense, too much impact, keep doing the marching. Knees wide, switching back and forth. It's the second run. Looks even funkier when it's sped up from the march. The third run can also be a third march, and that's knees down and heels up. Sort of kicking yourself in the butt. If you can. I don't have that kind of flexibility in my quads. Terrible thing to admit, I know. You can hear my breath is beginning to work a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Little half jacks, by the way. There you go. You can do the full ones. You can go crazy if you want. I'm gonna do a little ballistic cool down after the warm up. I just sort of shake stuff out, maybe some huggers. So you may be thinking to yourself, hey, Laurince, isn't Tai Chi supposed to be good for flexibility all on its own? Yeah, it is. Part of the reason I can do some of the things I can do in my stretches that I do is because of the flexibility I've built up over time with my Tai Chi. So that's my warm-up. So why not do it? Right, I do yoga. Not really focusing on the art of yoga, but the stretches that it gives. So sorry about that, yoga heads. And take out my socks as well for this stretch. I'm warmed up, so I'm going to lose my sweatshirt. So, wide leg, wide feet hamstring stretch. Let me stop that. Reset, throw it to the side. Well, not throw it. You don't want to go too wide here. Too wide impacts the groin. I'll probably do that at the end of the stretching sequence. We have our tools here, right? Some people need various support in their stretches, especially if they have back issues. Their doctor may say, yeah, you can do that forward fold thing from yoga. I'm going to go sideways here, so I use the chair this way. right? But you need that support. So you get a chair, an ottoman, a stool, whatever you need. And your feet can still be wide. Boom. And there you go. You can even do the twisty thing that we're going to do with the chair, at least one of them. Well, to both sides, so two of them, but you get my meaning. Right, and then you have good old yoga block. Not too expensive, right? And you have the different heights. Right? That's far up from the ground to support you. This gets you a little bit closer when it's on its side. When it's flat, a little bit closer. And in all reality, when it's flat, you're probably to the point where you can use your fingertips. And after fingertips, you have finger pads. Right? And then closed fists get you a little bit closer still. And then hands. Then maybe separating the hands. Or reaching the hands back and through. Or carefully, not using your muscle to instigate the stretch, but to support the stretch. You can grab a hold of the ankles and press yourself a little bit into your stretch. So if you don't have a yoga block, if you know me, if you know Water Tiger, we believe every household should have a complete works of Shakespeare. Right? Look at that nice thick book. And today I grabbed the Bevington edition of Complete Works of Shakespeare. I usually grab the Riverside. Yes, Laurince McElroy is an old theater geek. He has more than one Complete Works of Shakespeare. But this works the same way. See? That's the yoga block in that position. But you have to hold the book closed. Right? Take it to the next level there. You have to put the binding side of the book down and hold the book closed. Then when you get to the side, just like the yoga block, don't have to do anything except put your fingers, pads, palms of the hands. And by that time, you can probably do the fingertips down there. So there's your tools. I'm not really going to use the tools that much during the stretch. So again, too wide, we're getting into groin stretch territory. I want to focus on the hamstrings. My head's a little cut off here, but I don't really care because I'm going to spend most of the time bent over. So I'm feeling even now, I'm lengthening the legs, not just pushing the knees back. I'm lengthening the legs. I'm engaging the hamstrings by activating the quads to straighten the legs. And I'm getting a pretty good stretch right here, especially if I'm really, really tight. Sometimes this is enough even for me, right? And especially for folks in the public program, this might be it, and that's fine. Right? But otherwise, we go into the full stretch. I'm going to start in prayer hands, a little nod to the yoga origins of the wide leg hamstring stretch. Used to always refer to this as namaste until I learned better. So it's just prayer hands. Changes the aspect of the upper body a little bit, so feel how that changes your stretch. Some people open and raise the hands and the arms. On the exhalation, we like to do it on the inhale, so find an exhalation. And inhale, I'd like to drop my arms. Other people just raise straight up. Notice, as my arms are coming up, they're not being lifted from the shoulders. Reaching up and out of the shoulders. Now, I know you can't see my hands, right? But you can see my shoulders aren't pinching the sides of my neck. My hands are palm to palm. My fingertips are together, but you can also starfish the fingers and spread the fingers out here. Either's okay. And again, I'm feeling the change of the stretch in this position. Then I find an inhalation and exhale. And notice the arms straight going down, my eyes forward. I can see you. You should be able to see me. I'm going to stop halfway for a moment so you can see. Nice straight arms. They're not above me. They're not below me. I like doing the palms down, fingertips pointing thing. Sometimes we'll do the washing the windows version. And then from there, you collapse into it. Again, perhaps with the yoga block, perhaps with the hands. And the basic wide leg hamstring stretch is hanging out here. Head hanging. Now, if you have a neck impingement, or like fusion surgery in the neck, you may not be able to let the head hang. You may need to activate it. So instead of looking back, if you have a neck impingement, you might actually be looking down. So here's back, right? Here's down. And just hanging out. Continuing to activate the quads to engage the hamstrings. Now we do other things. We add the little hip rotations here to it. Sort of open up the hips, the lower back. And you might notice that as I'm doing that, I'm starting to sink a little bit closer to the ground. You just hang out and breathe. See if you can, without forcing it, allow the elbows to get to the mat. I don't think I have that in me today. Activating the head and the neck a little bit too much. So that's just the basic stretch. You hang out here. So my first intensifier is to add I don't want to really use the S word here, but I'm going to say simple torso twist. Right? So some of you who don't need to block for the basic stretch may need to block here. And I'll explain why in a moment. Block. Palm down, right under your face. Fingertips forward, a little bit less intense than fingertips back. I'm going to find an exhalation. I'm going to inhale the opposite arm up. I'm going to turn my head so my chin's moving into my shoulder. I'm going to look at that left thumb on that side and notice this is open here. Chest open. Some people see me doing this and they try to recreate it and they're doing this. No. If you're here, then that means maybe fingertips, maybe yoga block to open up, maybe even chair to get that open chest in that twist. One more breath here. Find an exhalation to bring the hand down. Chain sides. Now, maybe you didn't need to block on one side, but you do on the other. That's fine. As we know, the left isn't the right, and the right isn't the left. And inhale up. Again, now I'm looking at that right thumb. Chest open. Straight line from this wrist to those fingertips. One more breath. And down. So we know another variation in Water Tiger School is to swing and go down the leg. Right? So our next intensifier is to do what we just did. You may have to shift the foot in a little bit. You reach across with the opposite side. Put that hand on those toes. Or, if you can't quite get to the toes, here's fine. Not quite as straight as I'd like to be here. Boom. And open up. This leg's going to want to bend. Work on keeping it straight. And it's the same thing. Chest open, fingertips up, chin into the shoulder, looking at that thumb. Couple of breaths. And an inhalation. Exhale down. Remember, too, as you're breathing through a stretch, as you're continuing to breathe, you're exploring the stretch on the exhalation. You're sort of backing off of that exploration of the stretch on the inhale. So you're working, if you will, the stretch on the exhalation and taking a little pause on the inhalation. Not necessarily a break, but a pause. You're not backing off unless you feel you need to. And so again, opposite hand, opposite foot, straightening that leg and opening up the chest. A few breaths here. Probably, officially, my hand should be here, so I have that straight line. But my ego wants me to go to my foot. It should mean over it a little bit more, which I can't do. See, I just fell over. One more breath. Inhale, exhale down. Now the next intensifier is something that I don't do because I don't really have the flexibility to do that, right? And it's called, a binding position. So what a binding position is that while I am here, I am reaching under and up and back and seeking to get my fingers together or even grab my wrist as I'm in this position. Now, I'm not there. Boom. But you hold that for a few breaths. And the other side, same thing. I'm here. I'm reaching this hand behind, this hand up and under. Boom. Now this side, I can slightly get the pads of my fingers together, but this leg isn't as straight as I'd like it, so now I can't. So again, over the back, under the leg, like this, like that, whatever you can do. And then come back to the center. So that's the basics of the wide leg hamstring stretch. I like to add a sequence of stretches to my wide leg hamstring stretch. So what I do, I start with a side lunge. Now notice two things happen. Turning on that heel, turning those toes forward, getting the knee over the ankle, not beyond it, and kicking that back heel back. This foot is flat at this point. The outside of the instep is down. I'm turning into this, and I'm staying as upright as possible. Getting the pelvic bowl down as low and close to the ground as I can. You may be up here, right? Which means the back foot would probably be in closer. Then I switch to a runner's lunge. So knee over ankle still, back heel's up now, but that leg is straight, driving that heel back, fingertips on the floor very lightly. Right? I shouldn't be here, unless I need to be, right? If I need to be here or on my yoga block, that's fine. Then from a runner's lunge to the basic runner stretch, palms down, knuckles, fingertips, and then the first intensifier on runner's stretch, elbows to the ground, back leg straight, don't let this happen. Still driving that heel. And the third and final, or the last intensifier, palm on the outside arm, down, other hand on the foot's ankle, and forehead to the ground. Another side. Again, you have to adjust your feet here. Toes out, knee over ankle, not over the top of the foot or beyond the toes. Back heel needs to kick back, that foot is flat. Turn into it. Get that perineum down to the earth. Runner's lunge. So, getting pelvic bowl down. I think I was a little bit like this on the other side. I want to get that straight line. Basic runner stretch. Here, or here, or here. First intensifier here, elbows. Second, outside arm, palm down, grab the ankle, forehead. And back to the center. Now, while I'm down here, to turn this into a groin stretch, slide that foot carefully. Oh. And you'll feel most of the emphasis leave the hamstrings and go into that quad area where the inner upper thigh comes into contact with the pelvic bowl. So this becomes now a groin stretch. You can play with the positioning, pressing back, but carefully, rolling forward to release. Don't pulse here. Take your time. To come up out of this, you need to walk the feet back toward one another, back into the basic wide leg hamstring stretch position. Now, a lot of people coming out of it will do a reverse swan dive. I like to roll. Regardless, if you're coming out of it in a reverse swan dive or ragdoll, roll up. You want to open the knees a little bit more from where they are. If you need to walk the hands up the front of the legs and the body, that's okay. Otherwise, just let them hang. And as much as possible, feeling each individual vertebra stack into place, sort of like a spinal Jenga. So you have the coccyx and the sacrum and the hips all settle into their normal position. And if you have 5 separate lumbar, you have the 5 lumbar stacked one on top of the other. If you have 12 separate thoracic, they all stack. As much as possible, feeling that stacking going on. Finally, the cervical vertebrae up into the neck, which brings the chin off the chest and the eyes forward. And there you go. Little sequence, little intensifiers, or for some maybe big intensifiers for your wide leg hamstring stretch. And by the way, you probably hear I'm breathing, right? Probably can't see until I get a little bit closer to the camera. I'm also sweating, right? Stretching is intense when you commit to doing it. You know, that's one of the reasons some big, strong guys stay away from things like yoga. Oh, it's just yoga. That's just stretching. That can't be work. Oh, man, is it ever? So there you go. A little deep drill into wide leg hamstring stretch, some modification possibilities, some intensifying possibilities, some add-ons, just to increase your ability to, have some variety in your physical training, in your stretching, and sort of exploring that, idea how stretching can help your Tai Chi can help your stretching, yoga can help your Tai Chi can help your yoga, and that might be an upcoming video in this pre-recorded series. I know it's on the queue. I'm not sure when it will pop up, but we're continuing to do these. At least, if we stay on schedule, at least one a week, sometimes more. We'll see. And we'll be here for as long as possible with these kind of videos. We're not going to shut the YouTube channel down when we see the other side of this. And for some, we are actually beginning to see the other side of this. Some see the illusion of the other side of this. Water Tiger School is based on Long Island in New York State in the United States. And we just, in the last 24 hours, started to move into phase 1 of a 4-phase process to get to reopening. But even within those phases, there are still going to be social distancing or physical distancing in place. Masks need to be worn, etc. So stay safe, stay calm, stay aware, stay educated, and keep listening to the health professionals and the scientists as to exactly how far away that light on the other side of the tunnel truly is. And remember, there's more than a decent chance we're going to find ourselves pausing in the tunnel or maybe reversing our trek a little bit, just to make sure that we don't overwhelm our medical facilities and endanger the lives of others. So anyway, thank you. If you have any comments about the content of this video or questions about the content of this video, use the comment section below. And I almost said I'll see you the next time, but when I hear that, when like a newscaster at the end of their broadcast say, see you tomorrow night, and I usually talk back to them, you won't see us. So I won't see you, but you will see me the next time. Until then, thanks, and be safe.